Of what the CIA and the Defense Department have been doing for a long time as far as using us as guinea pigs for mind control and other types of horrible things they have in mind for us and the rest of the people in the world. What are some of them?
Well, it started out basically with the CIA doing experimentations on their own men to discover if they could get rid of agents who were going to quit the department and still had classified information. So they utilized different types of drugs and pain and hypnosis and electric shock to try and get the guys to forget. Then they also did experimentations to using different chemicals to see if you can induce a person to commit a crime or induce him to do that or to do this. Of course, the CIA claimed that it didn't carry it through. The documentation we got was actually that they did that. Then we came across the overall project called mkultra. Its earlier code name was Artichoke, and that included 149 sub-projects. Those, 149. Yeah. And those sub-projects range from what I just described to open-air testing in the United States, experimentation on prisoners, experimentation on soldiers, experimentation on college students.
Would these people know they were being experimented on and gave their approval?
No, except for the quote-unquote voluntary Army soldiers.
Oh, yeah.
And the way the voluntary Army program worked is it started in 1959, and the guys were just told that they would be doing experimentation on new weapons, right? And then they'd get to Fort Detrick, Maryland, where the experimentation was done, and find out that they were going to be doing it on drugs and chemicals. But they were never told what they would be experimented on. You know, they just knew that they went crazy for a couple of days or so forth and so on, and then years later have similar things to the guys who had Agent Orange, because there's one chemical that was used called BZ, and it's 100 times stronger than LSD. It's a very gross drug that causes a person to totally go out of his head for at least 12 hours, sometimes up to 2 to 3 weeks, where he doesn't even know where he is or who he is.
Are there residual effects to BZ?
Yes.
Governments and corporations, for the first time in history, have the power to basically hack human beings. There is a lot of talk about hacking computers, hacking smartphones, hacking bank accounts, but the big story of our era is the ability to hack human beings. And by this I mean that if you have enough data and you have enough computing power, you can understand people better than they understand themselves, and then you can manipulate them in ways which were previously impossible. And in such a situation, the old democratic system stopped functioning. We need to reinvent democracy for this new era in which humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. We need to come to terms with the fact that, no matter, again, this is where philosophy meets computer science.
We're going to start the When Humans Become Cyborg session.
One of the major investors in this area is the military, so both certainly in the UK and in the US and probably elsewhere, because these are technologies that will enhance or, you know, are certainly thought to enhance human capacities in ways that will also protect soldiers, but enable us to do much more than we can already. And so we've been talking to military officers around the world. We're in the third wave of data collection, so we don't have any concrete findings to share at the moment. But we've been talking to them about their neural implants. You know, if they were to have, for example, a retinal implant that enhanced their sight capabilities, or a cochlear implant that allowed them to hear, you know, across great distances. What are the ethical issues that come up for them? And one issue that's really interesting is bodily integrity. So they want to know things like, you know, do I own my implant? Does my implant become part of me? What happens when I leave the military? Who pays for my implant? Does it get removed? Do I get to keep it for life? Does it get upgraded? Who pays for that? And so it reminds us in our preliminary thinking about this of issues of ownership over what you have in your body and the ways in which our bodies through this technology will extend to machinery, certainly, but also extend potentially to machines that exist outside the confines of our bodies.
There are quite a few studies where they can monitor, how you use your cell phone, your voice, your tone, and how you use your computers that reflects your mood swings. And that they are really early signals of someone going to a depressive phase. In fact, when you begin to see a tremendous change in the way which from your usual pattern. So that already exists. And I won't be surprised at all. This scales up to a much higher level to be used as a way of monitoring, and so you can have early intervention.